One of the most fundamental principles in Judaism is the idea that every holiday exists for today. There's an eternality to Judaism. We don't just commemorate. We don't just do things because something happened a long time ago. One of the great traps is thinking that the upcoming event, holiday, fast day, Tisha B'Av, was because of something that happened a long time ago. It's not true. Tisha B'Av is important because of something happening right now. And this period of time, the 9 days, is almost like the parallel to the time in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's like almost a very similar scenario. A really big day. Yom Kippur gets a prep. 10 days to get ready for it. A really big day of Tisha B'Av gets the 9 days to prepare for it. And to understand what the issue is, we have to go down back to the story. Now the story really begins in the desert with the spies. And the Jews stand at the banks of Canaan, of Israel. And God goes, it's going to be awesome. Like, good luck. And they're like, good luck? What are you talking about? Like, we're not doing this. Like, the locusts were awesome in Egypt. Like, you did that. That's phenomenal. Like, I don't know, just pull one of your moves. Like, you have 10. We've seen 10. I'm sure there's 100 more, God. So, like, I don't know. Bears, darkness, blood. Do what you got to do. Like, let us know where we're living. And God goes, nah, I don't think so. You're going to do this one. Remember the story, right? Jews come in, Jews come out, the spies. And they say, we're going to die. And they deliver a very detailed report. They're not just saying we're going to die. They, actually prove it. And they use very specific examples. And two of the examples they use is, one was fortified cities. They walked and they saw that these people live behind fortified walled cities. Now, when you're fighting with drones and F-16s, not a big deal. When you're fighting with sticks and stones and swords, yeah, there's a 10-foot wall. What are you going to do? And they said, we're done. There's fortified cities. What's the plan here? The second thing they said, which is so interesting, they said that this is an Eretz Ocheles Yoshveh. This is a land that eats its inhabitants. Why'd they say that for? And the answer that the Medrash teaches us is because wherever they went, there was a funeral. They went to a town, what's everyone doing? Oh, this guy died. They're like, oh. They go to the next town, what's everyone doing? This guy died. They're like, what? Next town. Every town they go to, somebody dies. And they're like, you know what? This place, everybody dies. And those are just two of the examples that they give that sort of prove to the Jews that we're going to die. The Jews cry. That night's Tisha B'Av. And here we go again. But if you look closer into the story, you find something fascinating. You know where they learned to look for fortified cities? It was Moshe. Why would Moshe tell them to look for fortified cities? Was he trying to scare them? And the answer is that Moshe was actually looking at it totally differently. If you walk down the street and you see a bunch of guys hanging on the corner, you think those guys are tough or are they weak? Meaning, if you're hanging out on a corner with a bunch of people in the middle of the night, most likely you can handle yourself in a fight. If you're behind 30 locks, most likely you can't. Maybe you can, but most likely you can't. If you've got to determine who you want to fight with, okay, the locks are an issue, but once you get past those locks, most likely the guy's not a fighter. Moshe's saying, you know why you should look for fortified cities? Because, okay, the walls are a problem, but we'll deal with that. But, I got to know if these people are sitting in open valleys. Because if you've got people back in the days of antiquity sitting in open valleys, those are tough people. Those are warriors. That's a problem. But if you've got them all behind walled cities, then maybe we got to get past the wall, but we could beat them. Two people. Same scenario. The spies see walls, and Moshe sees walls. The spies see walls and say, we're going to die, and Moshe sees walls and says, we're going to live. Let's go one more. How are there funerals everywhere? So the Medrash says that God did that. You know why? Because back then, they all lived in the same village. Like, it was like quarantine always. They didn't take the train, they didn't take the plane, they didn't go anywhere. So everyone lived in their same little villages. They all went to the same well. So when like 12 dudes show up, looking like Jews or looking not like them, everyone's like, what are you doing here? And then they go to the next day, they're like, what are you doing here? Like, after a while, these guys aren't like trained Mossad agents. They're not like slipping in. They're like 12 guys. They're going to be spotted. So God's like, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make a funeral. Because you know what happens when there's a funeral, especially of an important person? People come in from other towns. And the people that are in the town are busy with the funeral. It was the greatest gift. That's how they were able to not get discovered. God does it. It's the greatest gift. They see it. It's the greatest detriment. What's going on? Because Tisha B'Av is something much deeper than it seems. You know, it's interesting in Eicha. Eicha actually follows the Aleph Beis, except for 2 letters. Ayin and Pei. Ayin is the eye and Pei is the mouth. Usually Ayin, you see and you report. But here it's flipped. Because if you say something, then your eyes look for the things to prove what you want to be true. Tisha B'Av is about your eyes. And when you have eyes to see Hashem's gifts, when you have eyes to see the strength that He puts inside you, you walk down, you see walls, and you go, we got them. But if you've got eyes to see negativity, if you've got eyes that see, I know we can't, you're going to look at those walls and go, we're dead. You can walk down the street and go, wow, there's a funeral? Like, we got lucky. Second one, third one, wait, Hashem, thank you. Or you're going to go, see? It's all from here. Chesed, Avos Yisrael, getting along. Where is it rooted in? It's rooted in our eyes. When we see the person next to us, are we already anticipating something wrong? Are we threatened? When we see the people that are with us, do we see the world from their perspective? Are we empathetic? Do we think the best in people? Are we quick to judge favorably or to judge stringently? That's really the game of Avos Yisrael, of being one people. The words follow the eyes. The actions follow the eyes. And Tisha B'Av exists till this day. Do you know why? Because we may be in a different scenario. We may not be at the banks of Israel in the desert. But until our eyes see only good, we ain't coming home. And we're sitting on the floor. You know why I love this organization, Chesed 24/7? Because it's an organization of eyes. It's not someone asked them 50 times, can you? And they go, fine. The whole organization is built around people that look for the little things that mean a lot to people that are going through challenges. Small things that take place in hospitals and all the things that go on through the lens of Chesed 24/7 came to being because somebody looked and said, where can I add value? Where can I make someone's life better? Where can I make it easier for somebody else? It's a 24/7 process of seeing through the lens of being a Baal Chesed. This organization is almost like the antidote of the eyes that have hurt us in Tisha B'Av. And my bracha and my blessing to this incredible organization and all those that are part of this is that we should have the same eyes. Our eyes should be looking for where I can help. In conversations with people of my family, of where I can add value. When I walk into a shul and see that one person who doesn't feel like they belong, My eyes in my home, in my community, in my nation should be geared not to how people can help me, but where can I add? Where can I help? Where can I make smile? Where can I draw a connection? And if we start to increase the quality of our eyes, maybe, just maybe, God will need to look down at us and say, look at them looking so good at people. Well, then I can see no wrong in my people. And maybe, just maybe, with organizations like Chesed 24/7, we'll be zocha to see the Binyan Beis HaMikdash. May it come in our days. B'mehera b'yameinu, amen.